Hello everyone, Tim here, Silver Pascal Coder, and today we are continuing the weathering adventure. We have our main program here. I can just bring up the screen for a moment. That's just what it looks like in design time. We may as well build it now and run it, and then we can go through the changes between what we saw in the first video and what we're looking at now. So I will tell you though that I do have a I has to call it intentional, but there is a spelling error in the program, and we'll come to that a bit later on because I want to show you something in regards to debugging, etc. So the other thing which I would like to point out here is that I'm only using, we will only be using components which you can get out of Lazarus and Free Pascal without having to use any other third-party components, so you don't have to install anything, in other words. So between last time and now, the main differences are that we have reorganized the code in the project into various units, and if I can find my project inspector here, I will just give you a quick summary of that. So basically you've got the project source up here, then you'll have the main form where I've got my API key hidden. We have an HTTP client, so we've moved that away. I've got my own structure of weather information that I want to capture or keep, and then I've got my interface to the weather API service. So basically a lot of the code which was in the main unit here has been moved elsewhere. I guess the other difference here is that you can, we've got our current weather and our forecast weather, and you can see here the what we've done here to make that work by implementing or creating an API object or class. We've got a class here for that where we can ask for the current weather or the forecast weather, and then we can do something with that result here and then free it up. So inside the form create function or method here, perhaps the big differences are the inclusion of some debugging information, and then we've got down the bottom of the window the chart here. With the chart, in order for it to give it a similar or the same look and feel as what you'll see in the top half of the application, then we need to set the X and Y labels, which are the marks which you'll see here, set them to white and bold as well, and then set the back color to that deep sky blue, and ditto for the main color of the chart as well. So all these changes here combined will give you this appearance here. The next change here is so that we can get this gradient color going from that light blue to the darker blue here. We're basically creating a rectangle from the top of the panel here down to the top of the chart only. So you're going from about there to about there, and like last time, when we do click on the button there, it will give us our current what's happening currently. And then also, like if you do, the other thing I will note here is the chart is also aligned to the bottom. What that does is allows the form to resize and grow, and it maintains the its positioning and height. So when we come to the getting the data from the weather API service here, with our current weather, and in the forecast function, what you'll see here is that we build up a URL. Here we're using the current weather API. Down here it's a forecast weather URL. We add some parameters to that query again, and then what we do here is then issue the request as a GET request. The results in a string which we can then extract the information that we want from the response received. Now you'll see here, this one here looks slightly different. What I'm doing here is I'm going to output the URL used, and if I do have a problem in extracting the weather, then what it will do at this minute is to say, hey, we had a problem and here is the URL that was used. Now I'm going to go, because we've got the program running and we've already looked at the current weather, I'm going to just let this thing here reload. I've got my the file loaded into a text editor on Linux here, and basically what you can see here now is the current weather report. And I'll just for the first part here, I will show you when I say what it looks like in make it easy to read. We will go up to, we have our header and our footer so that we know where the response begins and ends, and then what we can do is output the header with a subtitle followed by the JSON text, or the text as a JSON response formatted, and then we put the footer. So when you come into here, you can basically see all of that. That function to log the response is then called by this extract weather data from the stream. Also note here that we now also have a default return value of nil, and only if we can get all the data out will we assign the result. So this now means that the result of the other functions can either be nil or a weather thing, which brings in another question of how do we need to probably want to free the result, but that has impacts elsewhere. But up here you can see that I can't spell rain properly, and that will cause some grief to the program. So what we're going to do here now is to get rid of all of this text here, and then we can save it. And when we go back into here and we do the weather forecast, it will come up to here, and by the way, the forecast for each day is an array. So we'll step through this code here now. That one should be okay, and now we're going to have an error here, and it tells about an error, and we'll just keep on running. It jumps down to there, problems with freeing that result, so we'll just let that run. And now when we go into the text file again here and we reload it, you can see here that up here we've got the original URL, and then we have to go all the way down to the bottom, which is about 7,000 lines. This is the length of the message when you consider carriage returns and so on. And we have an access violation, and here this is the URL. This doesn't actually tell me the line in or the message that was problematic. I've got something more that I can work with. Otherwise, if I didn't have this line here, for instance, I would have to search for the message that was above it here. So that's where we're at with that one. The idea being is that with the forecast weather, what we'd be able to do is to, if I can go back to the main form here, we could show the temperature in the chart here, or give you a mechanism to go forwards and backwards on the chart itself. Sorry, above the chart I should say. In the next video I would hope to have the chart a bit further along. The code is going to be on GitHub, after I have made this video, after this video has been uploaded. The other functions here which we've used, this is straight from the previous version here, where we get a particular, we make an HTTP or an HTTPS request. That's about it for this particular video. Like I said, what we've done is we have moved the application along a little tiny bit by adding in another API call. We've added an empty chart into the bottom. We've fixed up our, with the chart being included here, we've fixed up our gradient, from the top half, down to here, so it now looks like it's starting to look semi-reasonable. And like I said, we've then split the code up over multiple units so that we've got following a principle of each unit being responsible for one thing. So, and like I said, we also added in the debugging functionality as well. So I hope you got something good out of this, and until next time, happy coding, and I'll see you next time. Bye.